Not only is Team Melli still alive, but they are men on a mission. On today's episode, we will recap and analyze Iran's match against Japan and preview Iran's upcoming showdown with Qatar. You know the deal, and you know what time it is. It's time for Team Melli Talk. Back to the Education City Stadium for Iran. Hi everyone, welcome back to Team Melli Talk. We know that everyone's excited about Team Melli, so this means you are also excited to buy some more Team Melli gear. Contact us on social media or send us an email. We have green retro Iran shirts and Team Melli scarves. You know you want them. Now let's take a look at Iran's starting lineup against Japan. Of course, getting the start in goal, Ali Reza Bayranvand. Now for the back line, Milad Mohammadi, Shoja Khalilzadeh, Hossein Kenani, Ramin Rezaian. Now for the defensive midfielders, Saeed Ezatolahi, Omid Ebrahimi. Now for the attacking midfielders, Mohammad Mohebi, Saman Goldus, Ali Reza Jahanbash. And of course up top, Sardar Azmoun. A few changes to Iran's starting lineup. Mehdi Taremi was suspended, and we got to see Omid Ebrahimi make his first start of the tournament. And of course, Hossein Kenani also returned to the starting lineup. Iran was ready to face the Samurai Blue. The two teams exchanged possession in the first half, but as expected, it was Japan that had more possession and more opportunities. And in the 28th minute, Japan took the lead through Hidemasa Morita after he capitalized on some defensive mistakes. Japan would have a 1-0 lead at halftime. Now, to be honest, at halftime, I'm sure a lot of people probably thought I was very upset and saying negative things about Amir Ghalanoui. But I was not, and I will prove it by sharing my tweet on X. Down 1-0 at the half, glad Iran didn't panic or get flustered like 5 years ago. Got to stick to the plan for the first part of the second half, but we'll have to make some changes eventually, hoping for an early goal after the restart. And that goal would come in the 55th minute when Mohammad Mohebi finished off a perfect pass from Sardar Azmoun to level the score at 1-1. It wasn't just a pass from Sardar Azmoun, because there was also an amazing ball from Jahanbash to Azmoun just before. Iran took control and was easily the better team in the second half. At one time, it looked as if Iran had taken the lead through Azmoun in the 63rd minute, but he was whistled for offside just barely. It appeared as if the match was headed for extra time, but Hossein Kenani was brought down in the penalty area in the 93rd minute. Penalty for Iran. Who would take the kick with Taremi not available? It would be Ali Reza Jahanbash. He shoots and scores! Iran with a 2-1 lead in the 96th minute. Can you believe it? Pure joy for Mehdi Taremi. The amazing win over Japan means that Iran will face Qatar in the semifinals on February 7th. No need to care about which team had more possession. Iran took care of business in the second half and got the victory over Japan. In the previous edition of Team Melli Talk, I shared that Iran needed to park the bus in order to slow down the Japanese attack. And we saw it. Iran did a good job of keeping its shape, and we saw Japan getting worn down in the second half. As for my second key to victory, Iran actually didn't test goalkeeper Zayan Suzuki many times from long range. Instead, Iran's pressing was responsible for Japan giving the ball away on more than one occasion. And we saw Jahanbash and Azmoun take advantage of space in the middle third of the pitch, which resulted in the first goal from Mohammad Mohebi. When looking back at how Iran played against Japan, it is clear that Iran exposed Japan's weaknesses on the back line through pressing, long balls, and whipping the ball into the penalty area. It makes perfect sense that Mohammad Mohebi started at the left wing position because his height and physicality was clearly a problem for right back Maikuma. And it was Mohamed Mohebi's header that led to Hossein Kanani getting fouled in the penalty area in the 93rd minute. In all honesty, it is very difficult for me to choose one man of the match. Instead, I have three. Starting with Mohamed Mohebi, he definitely made up for his previous performances. It wasn't just his goal. Mohamed Mohebi had a great game all around, whether it was attacking, defending, or getting the first touch with his flick headers. Mohamed, very sorry for how harsh I was in my previous video. Next, Sardar Azmoun. Azmoun was brilliant against Japan. His pass to Mohebi was perfect, and he really showed that he could be one of the best players on the pitch in a really crucial match. And of course, Alireza Jahanbakhsh. Alireza has dealt with a lot of criticism recently, but he has never let any of this bother him or fluster him. I mean, that penalty he scored, ice water in his veins, never had a doubt. What a win to get Iran into the Asian Cup semifinals. Now it is time to talk about a person who deserved massive amounts of credit, Amir Ghalenoui. I am not lying when I say this, but the night before the match between Iran and Japan, I suggested that it would be a good idea for Saman Ghoddos to start at the attacking midfield position and have Omid Ebrahimi start in central midfield with Saeed Ezzatullahi. And yes, I do remember a time in this match against Japan when Omid Ebrahimi had the ball taken away from him, but he showed that he still has great vision and excellent ball distribution skills. In the second half, I am sure that some of the football experts were saying that Ghalenoui should have brought on some fresh players. But Amir Ghalenoui saw how the match was going, and he decided not to disrupt Iran's positive play on the pitch. Japan had already made 2 substitutions in the 67th minute, and had this match gone to extra time, Iran clearly would have had more fresh footballers on the pitch. Amir Ghalenoui won this chess match with Japanese head coach Moriyasu, and Iran will play in the Asian Cup semifinals for the second time in a row. Once again, an excellent win for Team Melli, and excellent work from Amir Ghalenoui. Qatar, the hosts of the Asian Cup and the defending Asian Cup champions. But this is a team that Iran is very familiar with. Let's take a look at the all-time history. Total dominance for Iran, and the results have also been good at the Asian Cup. 2 wins for Iran out of 2 meetings. This is Qatar's 7th consecutive appearance at the Asian Cup. Qatar won the previous Asian Cup and made it to the quarterfinals on 2 other occasions. The last meeting between these 2 teams took place in October 2023 in a friendly tournament in Jordan. Iran dominated in a 4-0 victory. Hossein Kanani scored 2 goals, and the others were scored by Alireza Jahanbakhsh and Sardar Azmoun. Qatar is coming off a win over Uzbekistan in the quarterfinals. The match ended 1-1 after extra time, but Qatar prevailed 3-2 on penalties. Here are the players to watch: Lucas Mendez, Hassan Al-Haidos, Almoez Ali, and Akram Afif. Lucas Mendez is a left back who currently plays for Al Wakra in the Qatar Stars League. Lucas Mendez was born in Brazil and has been playing in Qatar since 2014, but previously had a stint in France with Marseille. Midfielder Hassan Al-Haidos of Al Sadd. Hassan Al-Haidos is the captain of Qatar and is very experienced with over 170 caps. Next, striker Almoez Ali of Al Duhail. Almoez Ali has only scored 1 goal in this tournament, but we absolutely cannot forget that he was the top scorer of the 2019 Asian Cup with 9 goals. Last but not least, winger Akram Afif of Al Sadd. Akram Afif is one of the top scorers of this tournament with 4 goals. He is very fast on the flanks and will create trouble if he is not marked properly. The head coach of Qatar is former Spanish midfielder Tintin Marquez. Marquez was previously head coach of Al Wakra in Qatar, and prior to that he also had stints in Belgium with Eupen and Sint-Truiden. And of course we cannot forget that he was once the assistant coach of Spanish club Espanyol from 2004 to 2008. Here are the keys to victory. Number 1, be cautious when pressing. Number 2, limit set-piece opportunities. Qatar has not been very impressive in the knockout stage. In Qatar's 2-1 victory over Palestine in the second round, Qatar's first goal came off a corner kick, and the second goal was from the penalty spot. Against Uzbekistan in the quarterfinals, Qatar's only goal was an own goal as a result of a huge goalkeeping blunder. And it's because of these reasons that Iran needs to be careful when pressing, but of course, make sure to limit set-piece opportunities for Qatar. And let's not forget, Iran will face Qatar on February 7th at the Al Tumama Stadium in Doha. Now to finish off this edition of Team Melli Talk, I promise not to complain when I see Amir Ghalanoi's starting lineup against Qatar. When I saw the starting lineup against Japan, I obviously wasn't super thrilled to see Mohamed Mohebi, but he was awesome and definitely silenced all of his critics. Earlier I shared my keys to victory, but aside from my keys to victory, I think mental toughness is going to be extremely crucial for Iran because there is going to be a lot of pressure on Iran to defeat Qatar after scoring a huge win over Japan. And the way for Iran to channel this pressure into positive energy is to have the same attitude that we saw against Japan. Good luck to Iran against Qatar. I know it's going to be tough, but Mehdi Taremi will be back. Other players will be well rested. This is a game that Iran is expected to win, and I predict a 3-1 victory.